Hi, my name is George Sleffel. I'm the Skokie editor for Patch.com. I feel very fancy sitting up here, being part of the Society of Professional Journalists. Just never thought of myself doing something like this, but I have a background. I've worked for Obama, I've covered the military, did a lot of hard news for the Daily Journal, and that's me.
Screen. Is this working? Oh, we're on. Okay. My name is Sherry Scalco. I'm the editorial director for the Midwest, and that covers everywhere from Western Pennsylvania. So yes, in Patch, Western Pennsylvania is considered the Midwest, all the way to the Mississippi. And so right now it's, you can see it online if you go and search for job opportunities in Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Chicago, and St. Louis. I've been with Patch for about a month now. And prior to that, I was 2 years at the Online News Association, where we were a two-person operation, so we did everything from development to membership services to the website, conference planning, training, things like that. And, I think my most significant experience in relation to this job was I spent 5 years at ESPN.com, 4 as the NHL editor and 1 as their first integration editor. And then also I was the online editor of the Sun Sentinel in Fort Lauderdale, where I ran their website as part of the Tribune family, and that's actually how I got here to Chicago. So next to me is Dennis Roba.
Hello, I'm Dennis. I'm a regional editor. I am responsible for the south suburbs of Chicago. I've been in the news business for 20 years, mostly in newspapers, and happy to be here.
First question is has already been answered by Hillary, which is there are recruiters here, so I imagine AOL is hiring, and quite extensively, right? Not just locally, but all over the country.
All over the country.
And how much does Patch pay? Are these entry-level jobs? You're looking for folks like Dennis who have decades of experience in the news business? What sort of salaries is Patch looking to pay folks?
We pay competitively, and we pay an attractive level. I don't want to necessarily say specifically because it does depend on the applicant's experience. And we have a range for the local editor position. We also have a range for the regional editor position. And just to draw some comparisons for those of you who might be from the print side, the regional editor is along the assistant city editor to city editor level, and then somebody of a local editor is in the ballpark of, I'd say a veteran general assignment reporter.
Okay.
Or a not, I wouldn't say, we don't pay entry-level salaries.
Okay.
I'd say they pay us very well. Just put it there.
George, can you tell us a little bit about the newsroom you work in and how you coordinate with your regional editor and how perhaps coverage develops?
You kind of mentioned newsroom, which is kind of the thing. The last job I was at, working in the newsroom, I remember over there was a little bleak. People were getting laid off that worked there for, say, 15, 20 years. They were making budget cuts. I was covering cops. Next thing you know, I was writing, business features because they just let go of that guy. If I needed a camera, for example, I would be told to open some drawer that I've never opened before and shuffle around and find something from 1997. Then I need to buy batteries out of my own pocket. I mean, it's just not cool. Then I come over to Patch, which is awesome. Sometimes I'd walk into a newsroom and I'd be like, why the hell am I in this newsroom? I can do this either at home or I can do this on site. And that's kind of the philosophy that Patch takes. Technology has completely changed the game. I mean, there's been times when I hear something on my scanner at like 6:40, I'm there at 6:45, the story is up and running with the who, what, where, when, why, and the pictures within 50 minutes to an hour.
It's a little bit about, what sort of technology, what sort of gear do you get?
Oh God, they totally equip us so well. I'll show you guys. Okay, so the coolest thing is like when I was being interviewed, I'm like, I got my own laptop, I could turn my phone into a modem, and then, Kirk over there is like, dude, you don't use your own laptop. They hook you up with this sick MacBook right over here.
Where's your Patch sticker, please?
I haven't gotten one, but you get the MacBook, and then you also get a data stick, which basically you get a data stick and you also get a digital camera among other things. But in short, I'm a walking newsroom. I mean, I can cover anything, anywhere,
Who is your
anytime.
competition in that environment? And then Sherry, how do you make sure that George is keeping up or beating the competition?
You first.
Okay, sure. Skokie's awesome because
There is none.
I mean, yeah, there pretty much isn't any. In like the last like 2 to 3 years, like we've gotten a ton more crime in Skokie. That being said, the only paper we have over there is the Sun-Times Media's Pioneer Press. They're a weekly publication. I think they made like 20% cutbacks recently too. I'm actually a 27-year-old kid that has more resources, I think, than they do because they're not just covering Skokie. They're covering some of the outside parts of Skokie, and they don't do breaking news because they're a weekly paper. Like they do have a website, but I visit every day, and like they don't have the stuff that I have. There was a teen running around Old Orchard Mall with a butcher knife. They didn't even have that on their site. I have a picture of the cops arresting the kid on their website. Local people who are concerned that their community is going to crap want to read that stuff, and that's how I'm getting a lot of this traffic, is covering this breaking news. I get emails every day. I think Sherry just got one recently. Some people are telling me they're canceling their subscription to the Skokie Review because our content's free. I'm posting material up daily, 3 to 5 items a day. I don't fear them. In 6 months, I plan on being the source for news for Skokie. That's my overall game plan right now.
Many of the communities where we've set up patches, there is no competition, as George has pointed out. We really haven't had to hold anything up to a local editor and say, look, somebody beat me. It hasn't happened.
We do have the benefit of the only bricks and mortar we have are 3 cubicles in the Hancock Tower, because that's where AOL Sales is, and that's where like our Patch Central office is, which is me, Kirk, and our regional director who handles our listings and stuff. Because we have everybody else out in the field all the time, so we're not paying for the structure, the bricks and mortar, the printing press, and just everything that goes into a newsroom. I mean, we don't have a copy machine that we have to lease or buy and have maintenance and everything like that. So those things kind of add up for newspapers. And so we just really take advantage of what the web is and what it has to offer. Our first priority is journalism and building an audience and sustaining that audience. I mean, and that's where we're at right now. We're launching these patches, and we're giving local editors like George the opportunity to create, grow, and maintain relationships so that when we do go to advertisers, we've got something to give them. Instead of putting the horse before the cart and trying to sell something that you don't have yet, is we're building audience first.
How much does a freelancer get paid by the word, by the click, by the
By the article.
By the article?
And it all depends. I mean, it's competitive for the community.
I can touch on some numbers.
Yes, that'd be great. I think
Can
a
I touch
lot
on
of people would like to know.
I mean, if someone was a freelancer, I'd tell them what I
Yeah,
do, so.
go ahead.
I mean, I typically pay, like, the low end would be around $60 and the high end's $100. And if it's like really mind-blowing and crazy, like, we can go up from
Talk a little bit about how you view competition in the hyperlocal online news space as opposed to what would have been, a newspaper competition, if you will.
I can tell you that with my editors, I expect them to be the authoritative voice for news in their community, and everyone else should be following them. That's what competition is. And quite frankly, we're going to set the pace. Everyone else can follow.
How do you quantify your success?
I would imagine it's different. My measure of success is different for me as it is for my superiors over here. I would say for me, like personally, like traffic, I mean, I get my numbers and I see my numbers are going up really well. I'm like, well, I'm doing good. I must be doing my job right. The other thing is if I'm putting a dent in the local competition, I mean, I know I'm not going to see it probably, but if they went out of business, I'd be like, yeah, I did my job. I mean, that, to me, biggest indicator would probably be like discussion going on my website, if people are commenting.
There are many measures of success. There's how well received you are in the community. Do people consider you the go-to source for news? There's traffic. There's comments and interaction on your site. With the local editor, are they breaking stories or are they lagging behind and chasing other people? So, there are measures, there are individual measures, there are measures for, on the business side, there are measures on the editorial side in terms of, are we creating the kind of compelling content that makes people come back to us? business. So, to really describe all these different variables, it probably needs a seminar all on its